Welcome to the Brothers in Influence podcast, where we stand to encourage, inspire, and add value in the areas of life, leadership, and community. I'm your host, Ian Williams.
And I'm Sherrod Ledet.
And I'm Shante Price, and together we are the Brothers.
And we are privileged to bring you a special guest who's going to bring the influence. Let's
get it. And our friend is Gary White. Man, Gary is an awesome guy. I'm going to tell you guys about him, and then I'm going to brag on him a little bit afterwards. Gary is an accomplished PhD candidate with 30 years of success in both delivering and teaching services and management in the adult learning environment. He has managed all aspects of effective training programs and instituted superior management procedures. Gary both managed and delivered instructions in the NDMS Fundamentals training program which enhances the effectiveness of medical teams during disasters. As a master exercise practitioner, Gary defines course objectives, plans, and conducts classes. In addition to being a Maxwell Leadership Executive Program facilitator, Gary is an expert in leadership, communication, and human behavior. He holds certifications in the Maxwell Method of DISC and Emotional Intelligence, EQI, and EQ 360. Yes. We got Gary in the building, y'all. Yeah. So, many of you guys know, myself, Ian and Sherrod, we are Maxwell coaches ourselves. So that's where I met Gary. Gary is one of the guys that reached out to me. I have a few people that reached out me prior to me even coming to doing a podcast, and just invited me on this platform. He heard my story and was willing to invite me on and share. And like I told Mary, I had Mary on from the team. She's over in London, and she had invited me on her platform too. And I said, I went back and looked at it, and I just laughed at myself, like, who is this shy guy? And but I was just being me, right? And just being me and telling my story, because I'm passionate about what I do, because of how I grew up and not having those opportunities, or not even taking advantage of the ones that were there, to be able to get away from some of the things I got into as a youth. So, Gary, as we start, let the people know about high definition coaching.
Thanks, Shante. First, I want to say thanks for having me on, and thanks for being who you are and for what you do. There's so many people that get nuggets of gold from you, and I happen to be one of them. And so thanks for all that you do. Yeah, High Definition Coaching is my company, and I chose that name, Shante, because the word definition comes from the Latin word definitus, which means limits. And so we all have standard definitions to everything in our life, to relationships, to opportunity. We have standard definitions on our own capacity, what we believe we're capable of. We have standard definitions. Well, our definitions, if you just look at the word definition, that it comes from the Latin word definitus, which means limits, our definitions become our own limitations.
Yeah.
So everything that we want to reach for, every level that we want to achieve, it's beyond our limits. It's beyond our standard definitions. It's always in high definition. It's always out there. So that's why I chose the name, and that's how I like to operate inside of companies when I'm training, when I'm coaching and speaking. So that's the lowdown on the name, High Definition.
High definition, high limit coaching, right? Yeah, and I think that's fitting, right? Especially, I think that for me, I already know you. I know what you do, but that expands my understanding of what you do, right? Because we all do put limits on ourselves, right?
Yeah.
You a lot of us heard about the those glass ceilings, and it's up to us to break through those things, right? It's up to us to go to that next level, and only by us knowing who we are, taking that self-awareness approach and saying, okay, this is who I am. I know I've done this, but I'm also capable of doing something else because I know who I am, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Shante, there's 3 questions, and I like the fact that you went to the who I am. There's really 3 questions that we have to navigate these questions, but we always face them whenever we're trying something new, and those questions are: can I, should I, and who am I? And can I is the capacity question, and many times, Shante, we will say, we'll put emphasis on the word can, and we'll say, can I? Well, and objectively, yes. But then we switch the emphasis, and we don't put it on the word can, we put it on the word I, but can I? Yeah. And that just, it switches into an identity question. And so I like the fact that you went there, because that's where we have to go, is who I am and who I can be.
Can I? Okay, so can I, and what was the second one?
Yes, the second one is, should I? That's the purpose question. Well, should I? Should I? And then we flip it. Yeah, but should I? You know, and in this world, Shante, where we got a choice of making a difference. Listen, there's things that happen. We see it on the news at times. There's things that happen that somebody could step in and alleviate the situation, but for some reason they stand behind a video camera and they just catch it on video. You know, I'm like, that question's got to be screaming in their mind. But should I? But should I? But you know what? If not me, then who?
That's right.
Right. That's the approach that we got to take. If not me, then who?
Yeah. Man, when you were talking about that, Gary, it makes me think of myself, because I didn't grow up with my father. I love my dad to this day. I love my dad. And the funny thing about our relationship, the best relationship we ever had, we were both in prison. Right? Writing letters to one another, getting to know one another, and things like that. Best relationship we ever had. We're both out now, though. And you know, that's a question I had to ask myself, right? Because I didn't see myself. I didn't grow up saying I'm going to prison, right? I specifically remember my mother and my aunt asking me and my cousin, we're a couple months apart in age, are we gonna be like our brothers or cousins that were out selling drugs? And we said no. And we said it, we said it honestly, right? Because at that point we didn't know anything. You know, all we knew is what our mothers may have felt at times because of our brothers or cousins or what have you. And so we was like, we didn't want to make them feel that way. But as life went on, you know, I made some decisions, right? And it goes back to what you said. Can I? Should I? And mine, I didn't know who I was. So I was doing follow the leader. And so that's a great analogy of those questions that we have to ask ourselves around self-awareness, for us to be able to make the proper decisions, right? Not being the followers, but being able to say, I'm my own individual. I tell people oftentimes, you can't live up to someone else's expectation, because we're individuals. You just can't do it. So
right.
I appreciate that. That was awesome. What would you say? What advice, Gary, would you give an individual that's kind of juggling that? I don't know if I can. I don't know if I should, or even I don't know how, because most people can do that thing they're asking themselves about. It's just about, like we said, being self-aware. So what is one of those key or top strategies you might give an individual to say, okay, this will start your journey to being able to answer that question and being able to put one foot in front of the other to go in that direction?
Yeah, so I think I would say two things. The first one I would say, do not wait on the emotion of fear to be absent. I think we have this idea sometimes that is when I don't feel scared, then I'll take a step. So don't wait on that to be absent is the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is take action. And here's why: because action always precedes discovery. We never discover anything without taking action. And so no matter how small the action is, no matter if you don't know what's around the corner, as you take action and as you approach the corner, you'll be able to see around it. You'll know. And so take it. That's what I would say. Those two things. Don't wait on fear to not be present, and take action.
Take action. Yeah, because when you wait on that fear not to be present, it's probably done passed you by now, right?
Well, I'm putting a very unrealistic prerequisite on my achievement, on my success, on my direction in life. I mean, fear is just one of those things, right?
Yeah, and it's detrimental oftentimes, man, to us, to the success of what we're trying to do. Even successful people, it's caused them not to get to that next level. Successful people. So yeah, awesome. So I know, like I believe that you have a lot of great things you're still working on, right? You're not done yet, right? You're still growing your business. So what's been your greatest challenge on your journey, and what's helped you to continually be in that process of success mode?
So I would say the biggest challenge, Shante, has really been letting go. And so I want to explain that. A little earlier this year, those two words, they just kept coming to my mind. And as I was coaching inside of companies, it just kept becoming part of the conversation. And I just decided, instead of having a word for every year, I've got two words for life, and those two words are let go. And I think about what John Maxwell, in one of his messages, he said, I have nothing to bring. I have only that which I must resign. And those two words, let go, they have two definitions. One is to relinquish your grip. That's definition number one. Definition number two is to allow it to move forward without restraint. So probably the biggest challenge for me has been letting go. Okay, so when I talk about don't wait on the fear to be gone, I'm hanging on to this idea. I'm hanging on to this other feeling that I want to have before I move forward. But if I'll let go of the need to feel no fear, I will actually let myself move forward without restraint. And
yes.
So that has also been really what has helped me stay the path. Is I actually take my focus off of what I'm letting go of. Okay, because in order to truly let go, you got to quit looking at that thing, man. You got to turn from it. Turn from this and turn the other way. I put my focus on how I can move forward without restraint, and the way that I do that most successfully, Shante, and I would tell anybody this has been a secret. I guess you call it that with my success. It's been the secret sauce. Is make that focus about others, how I can help others advance and move forward without restraint. So when I'm working inside of companies, I'm working to help them move forward without restraint. When I'm coaching someone, I'm working to help them move forward without restraint. When I'm at a networking meeting and I'm just talking with folks, we're not doing business, we're just talking, I look for some way how I can help them move forward without restraint. And I've just found that if I will put my effort into helping other people succeed, then the success, it just comes. The opportunities just start knocking. It just shows up. And I believe that's the answer, Shante, to anyone's success. I believe that's the answer right there.
All right, we gotta get some clap up for that. That was awesome, Gary. That was awesome. You actually, when you were speaking, you reminded me of something Apostle Paul said. He said, letting go of those or forgetting those things that are behind me, he presses on towards the mark. And you were talking about, you're teaching these companies, you moving forward. We got to move forward, and we can't move forward holding on what's back behind us. It's gonna slow us down. It's gonna cause us, like you're saying, turn around. And you can't run your fastest looking behind you.
Right.
All right. Just not gonna happen. Right. You're gonna run into something eventually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was awesome. So when you think of the term brothers and influence, what brings to your mind? What does that bring to your mind?
I love the name, by the way.
Thank you.
Part of the reason that I love that name is because, first of all, when you identify someone as your brother, who's not blood kindred, right? That's a choice. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a choice. And the influence piece, brothers in influence, we don't get to choose who we influence, but we do get to choose how we influence. So when I hear brothers in influence,
again for us, Gary.
What's that?
Say that again for us.
Yeah, we don't get to choose who we influence, but we do get to choose how we influence. And so brothers in influence, it's all about choices. I choose you as my brother, and I choose to influence in a positive way. And I choose to help you and however I can to help you influence in a positive way. So that's awesome. It, brother. That's it.
Awesome. The way we interact with people is so important. And I tell people, there's, especially being a part of the Maxwell team, there's so many people like you that I've just come across in a meeting we're having, or either on one of the calls, and I hear that name and be like, you know what, let me go find who this is, and we'll connect. And we might have just one conversation. It's people we've just had one conversation, and they've impacted me so much.
Yeah.
And then every time we might be on one of the weekly meetups or something, the monthly meetups, and I'll come across them and it's like we've been old friends, right? And that's what's powerful about communicating with others, especially those that even though they might not know you personally, right? They might not be that blood brother, but right. they want the best from you because of the community we're a part of. And that's I didn't expect that joining the Maxwell team, but when I got it, it was just like, it was just overwhelming at first, right? Literally the love.
Yeah.
You don't from across the world, and that's what's amazing, from across the world, not just the US, from across the world. I've connected with people from I just mentioned Mary earlier. She's in England, the UK, and people from Africa, you name it, Australia, they're everywhere. And that's been such a blessing to shaping me even more on this journey of self-awareness and being a change agent. Wanted to share my story with others.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to say you're one of those individuals. Gary.
Yeah, well, thank you, Shante, and you are to me too. Growth is a journey. If you're truly growing, you're never standing still.
Yeah.
You're gonna hit a goal, and there's just gonna be another goal. You're gonna hit a mountaintop, and there's just gonna be another mountain. If you're growing, it's a journey, and boy, it's one worth taking.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't change it. I even tell people, it's easy to say, think about your past and what you've been through, and saying, man, if I could do it over, man, I when I look at my life right now, I wouldn't change it. Yeah, 15 and a half years of my life was spent somewhere away from my family. But when I think of what I've become, I wouldn't change it. Because yeah, I could have not gotten in trouble and went to prison, but that doesn't mean I would still be gotten to this place in the same way. I could have just easily been somebody on drugs for 15 and a half years.
Wow.
Right? Or whatever. And so man, I thank God often for the experiences I've had, and with that, for the people he's just put around me, right? And that's part of that journey I've been on, right? I've met people, even in prison. I met people from all over the world, which is weird, right? Being in a space like that, but meeting people, same thing, from all walks of life, doctors, lawyers, you name it. I've met them, and we're all just people, and we all make mistakes sometimes, and that's the amazing part of it. But my mistake doesn't have to be who I am, right? I don't have to be that mistake, or I don't have to be my father or mother's mistake, as long as I come to a place that I know who I am, right? And that's what it's about, being more self-aware.
Yeah.
And the Brothers in Influence crew, they know we talk about DISC often, about knowing who you are and being able to go to that next level, because you can't do it without you knowing who you are.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true. And Shante, I mean, I've not walked in your shoes, and I haven't. I've met people who've walked in your shoes who are not on as good a path as you are on right now. And again, man, you've chosen to have an impact on people. See, there's influence, and then there's impact, and to have an impact, that takes consistency. You got to be there. You got to be involved in people's lives. You got to get down in the mud with them, man. And you've chosen to have an impact on people, and hats off to you, man.
yeah, appreciate it. So we've heard a little bit about your business and stuff. So can you tell us something interesting about you that's people might not know?
Yeah, I'm a songwriter, singer. I'm very good, and I love to play bass. So you put a bass guitar in my hands, and I'm happy.
Oh, that's, man, music. It's amazing you said that, right? So I learned how to play the piano while I was in prison.
Oh.
But yet I haven't had and I have a keyboard, but I really haven't had it. So that's something that's been heavy on me, getting back to that, because even for your mind, music is powerful for your mind, just in general. So there's good music and bad music, because that's going to impact how you. If I get up in the morning and I'm listening to this music that's not uplifting, or it's just about a selfish type of music, guess what? That's how I'm going to start my day. But that's one thing I learned, how impactful that process of learning was to me, and I've been missing that. So that I'm glad you even said that, because I'm working back towards that, because it's just a piece, being able to play an instrument, whether just to play around. And my daughter seen it the other day. She's 5 now. She's like, Dad, I want to play that. And I'm like, I'll see it over in the corner. I'm like, you know what? I need to pull that out, because that's an opportunity by itself for me and my daughter to connect. Yeah. So a bass, man. Yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out, man. Yeah. that bass, that's an amazing instrument by itself. The bass. Generally people look at it, think it's a big guitar or something. No. it's its own thing, just like us, just like we're individuals. That bass, and when you're playing an instrument, it's actually an extension of who you are. So that's what's amazing about it.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, Shante, about music. The best musicians, the best band, if you listen to them by themselves, they could, playing through a song, it could sound dull to you. It could. The best musicians play their instrument well. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work necessarily for the bass to be jumping all over the lead guitar or playing all across the notes that the piano would be playing.
Yeah.
It would sound very muddy. It just wouldn't sound good. But when the bass guitar can hold that bottom and hold that drive and allow the piano, that builds a foundation that the piano can shine, that the electric guitar can shine on. And there's places to do a run. There's places to have a little fun with it. But again, that's in human behavior and in how we can get the best out of life. Know our giftedness, get in it, do it well, and let that mesh in with others, and not feel like I'm the bass, but I feel like I need to be the piano too, right? Yeah. No, just be the bass.
That harmony, that working together. That's the ultimate piece of music, right?
Yeah.
A piano can do a lot by itself, or a guitar or bass, like you're saying, but it's when those things come together, there's just a spirit of harmony with it, and it just makes the impact more grand.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you listen to drums by themselves. If you're a drummer, you would love it. If you're not a drummer and you listen to drums by themselves, you're going, okay, I don't get it. I don't get it. But man, you put a good solid drummer in with a band, and that drummer can start driving it, and you may not even know the song, but you're ready to get on your feet and dance.
Yeah, move around. So, all right, Gary, as we get ready to wrap up, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then I'm gonna give you an opportunity to share your how people can get in touch with you. So, favorite quote or book, and how that has impacted you.
Wow. Well, my favorite book is the Bible, for sure. Absolutely. So I'll give you two books, and how the Bible has impacted me is absolutely changed my life, continually changing my life. John says everything that he learned about leadership, he learned from the Bible. I'm seeing a lot of that too. Yeah. I'm seeing things about coaching. I'm seeing things about just everyday life in the Bible, for sure. As in terms of a personal growth book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Absolutely phenomenal. It gets into the deep reaches of emotional intelligence and how we think. It just gets very deep into that. And let me say one thing about that, how important it is what we think and how we think. And by the way, the Bible says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, honest, just, pure, lovely, of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. So the Bible said it before any of the other books said it. Okay. Yeah. Just wanted to float that out there. But let me talk about real quick how we think. Me and my dad, we used to plant corn, and my job was to put the right seed in the planter. And I was a chunky little fella, and the hydraulics wouldn't work good enough to really seat the plow, so I had to sit on the plow. I was the weight man. I sat on the plow and provided a little weight. I'd load the seed up there, and I'd pour it in the planter, because we had to have the right seed, Dad said, because in this field we want peaches and cream, and in this field we want silver queen, and don't get them mixed up. Mm-hmm. And our subconscious mind is like a planter. All it does is spit out what we put in it. What we're thinking what we allow to go into our mind, our self-talk, and how we refer to ourselves, how we think about ourselves, and how we think about opportunities. And remember that frame of reference we get in. All of that creates, our subconscious mind is a thought generator. All it does is spit out thoughts. So if I'm thinking good things about myself and about opportunity, then I will have optimistic thoughts that just happen. They just happen. But if I'm thinking negative about myself, negative about opportunities or relationships, I'll have automatic thoughts that will go in that direction. So psycho-cybernetics, that really dives down into how we think. And number one's the Bible.
Hey, absolutely. Appreciate that, Gary.
Yeah.
So how can the people get in touch with you? Email, maybe website, whatever you got.
Yep. So my website is highdefinitioncoaching.com. highdefinitioncoaching.com. And my email is gary@highdefinitioncoaching.com, or they can find me on Facebook or find me on LinkedIn as well. And look forward to hearing from them. And Shante, always great to spend some time with you, brother.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Once again, this is the Brothers in Influence podcast. We're here with Gary White, and we thank you guys for joining us. And we're out.
Right on.